All right. Hello, everyone. This is Steve Connolly with It's About Belief. And I'm here with Dara Zenny. And she's been a client of mine for, I don't know, about a year, I guess. And we've had a periodic consulting relationship. And so we had one a couple weeks ago. And then she said, "Hey, Steve, I wanted to really get with you and do a video." And by the way, when I first asked her to do a video a while back, it was so far out of her comfort zone. It was unbelievable. But she did it anyway. She just stepped out and said, "Yeah, I'll do that." And now she's calling me saying, "I want to do a video." This is quite a shift. But so she wanted to talk about the consulting and what's happened with her since then. And of course, I'm promoting, shameless promotion, my consulting for anyone and everyone. Message me through the comment section on YouTube. I've got 3 different programs. I just developed an app. By the way, Dara was the first one who bought it. It's a tracking app to keep you on track. And she, by the way, she's doing this stuff anyway. So I'm going to stop talking. Dara, tell us what's going on.
Yes, and I just thank you for the opportunity, Steve. And as you said, the first time that I did it, I mean, I've gone on Zoom meetings and I don't show my face, right? So you gave me the opportunity, and I'm like, wow, and one of the things my mom always said is we can't keep anything unless we give it away. So when you offered, to have the session with me, and I've had such a thrilling experience after, it was like, I have to share it because others could benefit from this. So
Right.
basically, I came to you because I chose to move in with my 85 years young aunt. And I told my aunt, this is almost 2 years ago, that we really like each other on the outside world. She's a lot of fun. She's special needs. And I said, but I'm not sure we should live together.
Yeah.
So when my mom passed and then she had a car accident, I saw the opportunity. Why should I be living alone with my cat when she has this big apartment, 2 bedroom, 2 bath, a pool there? And I thought, wow, this is an opportunity for me to help her. She couldn't drive anymore. And without thinking too much, I moved in with her. So in my journey, I'm going to be almost 70 years young, I call it. I've explored many different ways of living and managing myself. So when I moved in with her, I thought, I got this. No, I didn't have it. It proved to me all the things that I thought I had handled in my life, reaction, triggers, had really gotten stirred up. So when I reached out to you, I was in what I call an ebb in my life. I don't call it depression, but an ebb where I only saw despair. I didn't see the glass half full, and I truthfully didn't see how I could continue my daily existence, which normally, Steve, was connected to the trees blowing, the sunlight coming through the water, sparkles on the water, anything that was connected to life and nature, I felt. But it was becoming deadened in being in her presence. She had a knee operation, which I thought, I have medical caregiving background. I can help. No. So for me, I went into what I call an ebb, which is retreating from the world, still doing daily work, daily activities, doing life, but not participating in life. So I would take care of, I take care of pets for a living. And I've told you this, Steve, that even energetically, they don't feel the love during those periods. And it's almost painful. They retreat from me rather than coming towards me. So when I
Mm.
called out to you, I'm like, I was really stuck in the problem. Certainly no solution. And what I love about you is you, you really bring it to that quantum level. You bring it up, the frequency shifts. And when I came to you, I told you about my despair, my aggravation with having to be in the situation. And your first thing you said to me, Dara, you just need to love exactly where you are right now. If you don't, And one of the things, Steve, I've shared with you is I don't intend to be a miserable person going forward. I don't want to live in that misery, right? So when you said to learn to love and laugh exactly where you were, we didn't go into heady and the problems and the stuff, right? The heavier stuff, I call it. It's like you took a match and illuminated the space. It's like the incense, it cleared the atmosphere. So out of that, and then you asked me a pivotal question. You said, Dara, if you had one word that you wanted to live by now, what would that word be? And the word just came straight across like a little movie screen, and it was vitality. And as soon as I shared with you, Steve, that word, it's as if my body, my mind, spirit, the integration part of me heard it. And it was like, okay, now what are you going to do about that? So out of our session, I left there lighter. And I understand, Steve, through the years of living, what frequency, connection, living in that quantum level feels like. And I love your videos, by the way. They're just so helpful, especially your shorts, because you can just get little updates and upbeat information daily. Is that I started to apply it. And it was like nothing changed around me. But I was like, the woman in the mirror started to change me. So,
Right, of course.
and it's always, that's one thing I will say. I always know it's not about Hetty, which is her name. It's about Dara. What do I have to do? And that saying, when we change the way we look at things, the things we look at change. I certainly felt like I was in prison. And then I began to peek through, and I'm like, the only one holding you back, Dara, is you. So after our session, I started to reclaim Dara. I went back to doing some hot yoga and doing some weightlifting and also downloading music, Steve, that had to do with love. Not about who am I in love with, but how can I love me so that I had that to give out again. And since then, I will just share with you even today what happened at Trader Joe's. Because I wasn't stuck in me, this woman came up and she had tattoos on her. And I said, oh, my niece does tattoo work. And she said, oh, really? Can you tell me? We stood and I was able to be with her. And something just clicked that she needed a hug. And I hugged her. And that only comes because I wasn't stuck in me, because I was
Of
living
course.
in that space of love. And she said, you have no idea what that hug meant to me. And I get chills sharing that. So the best part of my time with you, trust me, I've had therapy and, workshops, la la la. The best part of being with you is the way that you simplify it, keep it almost what I call that childlike essence of like, oh yeah, well, how can we play with this? How can we make it fun? So
Right.
I'm just so grateful that now what I do, my little practice is when I leave each morning, which is very early, about 6:30 or 7, I pause and I really take in the day, whether it's the birds singing or the sunlight coming through. And no morning, Steve, is ever the same. And so that means that we can adapt and adjust too. And I'm just so grateful. I couldn't wait. I think I've texted you, I think every day about little things that have occurred, like, oh, Steve, this happened and that happened. And it is what Steve works with, the law of attraction. It's like what we do think about expands. So if I was just thinking about misery and despair, what's the universe going to say? Okay, here's more of that. And
Right.
with my time with you, it was like claiming vitality. I mean, the earth is vital, the earth is vibrant. So I choose now, whatever time I have left, whether it's one day, 1 year, or 20, I really want to live in that happy, vital quantum zone. And it is possible. So that's why I couldn't wait to share. And
Right.
yeah, and I don't know if there's anything else you want to ask me about, but I'm very enthusiastic and I couldn't wait to share and let other people know that my isolation was only holding me back from what life is about.
So
And
you could. you made a couple of great points, which is number one, we have a choice, period. The stuff out there, and I point that way a lot, the things that are on this side of the physical eyes, uh, they're, pardon me while I reset my cameras and stuff. What's what happens when you get a phone call during one of these? When we look out through our physical eyes, we've got to realize that that's just an illusion. And it's so hard to remember that, even for me. Hey, I'm in this too. Um, but one of the best responses I ever heard, a spiritual response from probably it was a younger person, a light seed, if you will, and someone said to them, "Well, everything that you're experiencing is just an illusion." And their answer was very deep and profound, but it was one word. It was so. So what?
Oh,
Hey, we're here. So what are
wait,
we going to do about it? It's an illusion. Yeah, okay, great, but we're still here, right? So it does matter how we react to this stuff. It's an illusion. So none of that really matters. So none of that really matters. What matters is how we react to that. And so everything behind the physical eyes is real. So our imagination is real. Our reaction is real. Our thoughts are real. It's how we feel about it. I was talking to somebody the other day and I said, we have three minds. We have the gut mind, we have the heart mind, and we have the brain mind. And everything and everybody's pointing us to the brain mind. Well, that's the dumbest one of all. you know, it's this is the smartest one. This is next, and that's last. So don't pay too much attention to what's in the brain and what's going on out there. We have to go, as you said, get back. I love that what you said. Quantum level of responses, and I don't normally on my consulting. I don't have a script. I don't know
right.
what I'm going to say because I don't know what you're going to say. I have no idea. Well, I probably do have an idea because I already have scripted some things out in here. So there's already something going on, as far as pre-framing, because I want to pre-frame as much as I can because it has a huge effect on what happens next. And so that's some of the things I talk about on the consulting. And by the way, I like consulting. I don't really care for the coaching, and I'm certainly and sure as hell not would you call it therapist or anything like. I don't do no hell. I don't believe in that at all because they want to bring up the past and talk about that, and that does nothing but perpetuate the problem. Let's get to the solution now, and this works for as with you, just life situations, relationships mostly is what that was about, I think. But it works on money, it works on career, health. I use it on weather. I used it yesterday when I was driving back from Clayton. The weather report on the other day said it was going to rain all day Monday. No, wait, what's today? What is today?
Today
I'm
is
lost. Monday. It's going to rain all day Sunday. That's what it was. I was driving back Sunday. And I said, no, no, it's not going to rain on Sunday because I'm driving and I don't want it to rain. And so it was a beautiful driving day yesterday. And so the only reason I mention that is not to brag about that I can change the weather because I'm not changing the weather. You can't bend a spoon. You know what you can do is change your perspective, and to be aware of that is very very powerful. And so, and by the way, you're doing, like I said, doing the right things. You're really keeping your frequency high by watching the videos every day. Not necessarily mine, mine are great,
yes,
but
they
but they're not going to appeal to everyone. I like Neville. I like Joe Vitale. I like Abraham Hicks. There's a host of things I like out there. So I appreciate you pestering me and wanting to get on this video. And you weren't pestering me at all. Thank you for keeping up the speed on that because frankly I wasn't ready last week. I just had too many things happening, and now actually I have more things happening. But I've just stepped back and just said, okay, let's see how they flow. You know, so
Uh,
I don't know
Excellent.
what else to ask you except for what did you, as far as expect, what was the difference between expectation, maybe, and results?
I've learned, Steve, the less expectation that I have, the happier I am because I preconceive something, If I thought I had to go to you and I had to get
Excellent.
the solution and I had to, take it away and everything like a magic wand, which I love magic wands, by the way, would just disappear, right?
Right.
No. But I went in, as you said, I love that you talked about, the brain, the heart, and the gut. That's my intention is to have the integration. And when I was too stuck here, that's when I couldn't see the different perspective. So the
Of
time
course.
with you, it simplified it, which I loved. I had bosses years ago and they would say, Dara, don't tell me the problem. They were from, Europe. Tell me the solution. And I loved it that we didn't dwell on everything and all the little intricacies, and you lightened it up. That's what I loved about it. So out of that, it's like, okay, what's next? What else can we have fun with? And even that, I have a friend who I didn't connect with during that time, and she just said to me, Dara, it was so great to be with you. I don't have any other friends to play with, you know? And I bring bubbles with me now, to blow bubbles, You don't see too many adults blowing bubbles.
Not too many.
And what I love about you also, which is such I'm holding my heart to tell you, is the non-judgment zone. You
Right.
could come to Steve with anything, USA, anything, and you put it in a different. You don't criticize it. You're like, okay, well, let's look at that. And by the way, just to end on this illusion, music means a lot to me. So I
Mm.
actually downloaded the song Illusion. It's just an illusion. I think it's from the 80s. It's
Yeah,
all illusion.
it
So
is. There's another one called Dream On, I think by Journey, maybe Dream On. If you look at
yeah,
those lyrics, those are perfect. And I'll end this with uh,
yes.
let's not limit ourselves. In other words, think as big as you possibly can because if anything is possible, I like going back to that, then why not believe that that is true for you as well? Because I'll ask people, well, if anything's possible, then so you believe in this and that and the other, and then I say, well, what about for you? And then they say, oh, well, I don't know about that. Well, what makes you so special that you're not included in the laws of the universe? you know, so think big. That's the only thing I wanted to leave was step out there and get really, really crazy with the imagination and then just see what happens.
Thank you, Steve, for this opportunity too.
And thank you. I appreciate the accolades very much. And we'll get this out there. All right.
Great.
Thanks.
Thanks.
Thanks again, Dar.
My pleasure.